Companies want their brand to project certain values and traits. One of the values that Ford Motor Company's brand projects is trustworthiness. For BMW's brand, it's all about the exciting driving experience. But what about health IT companies? There has to be more than just innovative, quality, customer focused as key traits, right? Well, to get an answer to that question, I turned to Scott Collins at Aria Marketing, an agency that works exclusively with healthcare technology companies. Scott told me that he's seeing a growing trend of companies wanting to be seen as smart. Now, when I heard this, I just had to find out more. What is smart branding? What can companies do to be seen as smart? And why is this trait so important to healthcare marketing these days? Hello and welcome to Swaay.Health, where we bring you insights and interesting stories from the brightest minds in healthcare marketing. I'm Colin Hung, and joining me today is Scott Collins, President and CEO at Aria Marketing. He's going to share his thoughts and experience on smart branding. So get ready to be inspired, learn some new tricks, and take your marketing to the next level. Let's jump right in. Scott, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Colin. It's always great to be here with you on Swaay.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really excited for today's topic because you intrigued me when you were talking about this concept of smart brands. And maybe as background for our audience here, you were telling me that companies really want to have their brand exude certain qualities and traits. I think that's the core essence of branding. Like, for example, trustworthiness and innovative, caring, all those kinds of things are things that people want their brands to say. But one of the newer traits you were talking to me about was that people are coming to you saying they want their brand to be seen as smart. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, we see a lot of this. And when we do branding exercises with our clients, we're often taking them through a list of characteristics. What do you want to be? Topics like you mentioned, trustworthy is a big one. Economical sometimes is one, or value. Sometimes they want to be green, or they want to be friendly. They want to be warm and fuzzy, something like that. But when we offer smart as an option, almost everybody picks it. I guess no one wants to not be seen as smart. But, it really resonates with companies, although interestingly, I think for different reasons, because there's a lot of flavors of smart. They might want to be seen as innovative and cutting edge. They might want to be seen as iconoclastic and, like more like Elon Musk, right? I'm so smart, I'm totally changing the paradigm and I'm taking the market in a whole new direction. Or they might want to be seen as kind of geeky. I want to be seen as knowing more about this subject than anybody ever knew ever. I have all the details, So it depends on what kind of smart you want to be. But when we put that term out there, they always gravitate toward it. And then the conversation turns to, okay, what kind of smart and what and why and for whom do you want to be that kind of smart? And then that can dictate a lot of different marketing tactics after that.
And why do you think companies are gravitating to smart as a value that they want to exude? I mean, I won't say that I won't say it's new. I mean, I think you're right that people have always wanted to be seen as knowledgeable, but it does sound like more and more companies are gravitating towards this now than ever before. And why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's particularly important in healthcare technology because there's so much going on. There's so many decisions to make, so many IT projects, pilots, new stuff coming down. The hype cycle is littered with things that people are in various degrees of considering. So, trying to figure out what to do and who to do it with is a very, very tough decision for healthcare IT people, whether payer, provider, enterprise, whatever they are. And so they want a brand. They will gravitate toward a brand that they feel like, yeah, these guys really get it. They're smart. They're doing the most important work, the most important thinking. When I read this blog post by the CEO, when I read this interview that she did in this publication, I feel like they really get what we're dealing with, or their approach is is really smart and what we want to do. Not every brand wants to be or should be. A lot of markets are more mature, and it's not a matter of innovation, really. It's more about just doing the thing everybody's doing, but doing it better, faster, cheaper. You know, having other marquee clients that they want their brand to be associated with, whatever. They don't need to be smart. Smart sounds expensive, maybe, for that, kind of mature, commoditized offering. But healthcare IT's got a million, very innovative, quickly developing markets, AI and, fire, interoperable, whatever it is, like all these new technologies that they're just still trying to figure out what to do with. Smart is what you're looking for.
And where is just smart being applied? Like, what I mean by that is it smart individuals that they're trying to brand, or is it like, oh no, this is a smart company? Like, are they, there's a distinction there, right? Because I think it's not too hard to label an individual as smart, right? A lot harder, I would imagine, to label a company and a whole brand as smart.
Yeah, that's a good insight. It's true. And you try to do both. We definitely try to do both, with PR campaigns that feature leadership, subject matter experts, rank and file people that are down in the implementation trenches with the customers, and they convey different kinds of smart, and they're seen as smart people. And you think, okay, if these people are so smart, the company's probably smart as a whole. But positioning a company as smart is really important too, and that's more challenging. And there you need big ideas and interesting angles, and doing things a little differently, getting attention for talking about things in a new way. And we've done that with a bunch of clients over the years. Athena was a client of ours in their pre-IPO years, and they were doing a lot of really interesting stuff, kind of reinventing the way folks thought about revenue cycle and then EMR. And the way they put their solution together and the way we talked about it made it seem really smart. A lot of people said, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. That's how we should do it.
So Scott, let me ask you this question. Can you take this branding yourself as smart too far? I mean, it seems to me that you can go a little bit too far past the line and seem almost arrogant if you sort of embrace this a little too much. Is that the case?
That's a great point. Yes, absolutely, you can. And we've had clients that definitely get really academic, about their language and their ideas and the way they talk about their markets and the world. And you can tell them, all day that, look, you're talking over the head of your audience, or you're talking sideways to the way they think about it. But it's almost always a leadership thing, right? If the leadership of the organization is demonstrating a culture that values that, that highly intellectual imagination and language and discussion of the details, that's going to be valued in the organization, and everybody's going to talk that way. So it's hard to avoid. But yes, I think you can definitely be too smart, or you can seem kind of ivory tower in a way that customers feel like, oh, that those guys sound too smart for their own good. I need smart but practical.
I was going to say that I was going to ask you, that was the next question. Like, does smart pair well with certain other values or brand values that someone is trying to put into the market? You mentioned one, smart but practical, or smart but pragmatic. Are there any other sort of values that go along really well with smart?
Yeah, pragmatic is my favorite word there too, because it sounds smarter than practical, because it implies, I think, more a sense of, we've carefully looked at all the factors here and come up with a kind of optimal approach that is, for the realistic needs of today, and not doing something just for its, own technology's sake. But yeah, I think it pairs well with pragmatic, and that's a really good way to ground it, kind of anchor the smart brand concept. I think it can pair well with edgy and innovative, certainly, and those can be characteristics that companies really want, especially early stage companies. They love that stuff, and and that's it's a whole nother topic, but that's the image they've crafted for the investor world, that the investor world is digging. Now they got to pivot to market and sell, and I'm always trying to unbrainwash my early stage clients. Say, look, you can't use that investor facing gobbledygook anymore. Now you're talking to the market, the real people doing the stuff day to day, and the language is different. It's got to be more pragmatic and more realistic and more in terms of value delivered today, not our vision for transforming the universe. So, but you can pair it with anything. I think you can pair it with, you look at Apple. That's a smart brand, but they pair it with a lot of more lifestyle-y brand notes of fun and family friendly or cool or whatever. So there's lots of, I think, other brand attributes that pair well with smart.
So Scott, you mentioned right off the top, one of the things that companies can do to be seen as smart is being covered in the media, speaking at conferences. What are some other things that companies can do to be seen as smart?
That's a good question. I mean, I think one thing you've got to do is you've got to be smart, right? You got to have the goods. You've got to really have smart people and smart ideas that you're talking about. It's a very hard thing to fake at a fundamental level and seem authentic. So unless that's really your identity, then I don't advise trying to fake it, because you need, I guess for a second thing, you need the army, to carry it out. You need a smart army. You need the generals, on the field that are your C-suite leadership people who are going to seem smart and use smart messaging and carry that out. And you need your leaders on the field, marketing leaders, your agencies that you're employing, your other kind of rank and file out there, really getting those smart messages out there. So you need smart from top to bottom. And most of my clients, in my experience, they have that. These are smart people, smart companies. They can pull it off. But you got to make sure you're committed to it. And I think the final thing I'd say about it is you really need the commitment, right, to stick with it. Building a smart brand is something that happens over time and builds authenticity and momentum over time. So you gotta stick with it long enough to really build that reputation and make it stick.
And of those tactics you just spoke about, is there one that you would recommend people start with if this is a value that they want their brand to be known for?
Well, look, when you're a hammer, the world's a nail, and I'm a thought leadership PR guy, and so I see that as the solution to everything. But I do think in this case, it is a very authentic, correct approach, right? Because if you're doing thought leadership PR properly, right, you're constantly working on new ideas, interesting things to say, new issues to own, and smart things to say about those things. So you've got this idea fountain that everybody can dip into, whether it's for talking points in interviews or slides for your next conference slot, or it's a Salesforce campaign that you want to have good content for to drive leads for your next sales push, or a direct marketing campaign, like whatever it is you're doing, that smart content generator is at the heart of it. I think thought leadership PR is one of the best ways to generate a good stream of ideas. I would say, maybe related, but another way to go is a really robust blog. If you've got a good blog program and you're going around to your key leaders and subject matter experts and getting great ideas and writing them well, then you're getting a similar kind of smart content stream to tap into for lots of different purposes.
Love it. Love it. Scott, you've shared a lot of great information with us today. Where can people go to find out more about Aria Marketing?
Oh, thank you. www.ariamarketing.com, ARIA. Stop by and you can see what we do and see some of our people and reach out to us. We are a healthcare technology only agency, so your audience is a really good fit for who we talk to.
And we love that you're a great supporter of the Swaay.Health community. Thank you for that.
Big fans.
Scott, well, thank you for being on the program today.
Yeah, my pleasure, Colin. Great to see you. I'll look forward to seeing you at the shows this fall.
Same here. Same here. I want to thank Scott again for spending time with us today and for sharing his thoughts on this new trend of health IT companies wanting to be seen as smart. My takeaway from this conversation is that having deep domain expertise and sharing that expertise with an audience through speaking engagements, articles, and interviews is a good thing. The bottom line, according to Scott, healthcare buyers want to work with smart people and smart companies. So maybe it's time to inject some of that into your brand. And hey, if you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, please like and subscribe. Also, head on over to Swaay.Health. That's Sway with 2 A's, .health. There you'll find more great content like this. I'm Colin Hung. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch you on the next video.